Welcome back to the Buds in the Box podcast. I'm your host, Eric Fogarty, and I'm joined with my two co-hosts, Jude and Felly. What's up, boys?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, boys. So today we don't have a special guest, but we do have something else special. It's Felly's birthday today, the time we're recording this.
Happy birthday, Michael
May
Feldbloom.
18th.
Thank you so much. I'm currently 18.
Yeah, you're now a legal adult.
Now
You
can
drink in
vote
Quebec.
for Kanye if I was American. And drink in Quebec. So awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, well, if you're in the States and listening, you got to wait till 21, so that's a rip.
No, that's true.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, today's podcast, boys, we're going through our top 15 list of best players, and by that, we're dividing it into 5 sections: top 5 forwards, top 5 defense, and
3 sections.
Top 5
Nice
goalies.
division.
What did I say?
Three
Top 5
sections.
sections.
Oh,
Top 5
sorry.
top 5
Three
forwards, top
sections.
5 defense, and top 5 goalies.
Yeah, you guys understand. All right.
You do be getting an 85 in grade 12 math and not know how to divide
You do have the worst memory in the world.
it.
Stop making fun of me.
4 years down the drain like that. All right. Who's getting started first?
Anyone want to volunteer?
I'll volunteer as birthday boy. I'll go first.
All right, birthday
All
boy.
right,
Here he
birthday
goes.
boy.
No one can debate him.
No. So I'll start. So we're gonna start with number 5 forward and go down. So as number 5 for my forward, I have Alex Ovechkin. I don't know. I put Ovechkin there because I don't think he's as standout as he used to be. He's definitely not my top 4. But I did put him in the top 5 because he's such a dominant goal scorer. So.
All right,
What
keep flowing through them.
Oh,
Jude,
okay.
you raised your hand. Jude raised his hand.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, Jude.
Go ahead.
Yes, Jude.
I think that's a phenomenal pick.
Thank you so much.
And this is not because I didn't get you a birthday present. I swear.
Come on, man.
I'm sorry.
That's your birthday present.
Phenomenal pick. Okay,
Thanks
continue.
so much.
Who's next?
I feel so good about myself. Number 4, Nikita Kucherov. I put Kucherov in there because I feel like he's also a very dominant player in the NHL. He's one of the top scoring leaders most years. But I did only put him at number 4 because I feel like a lot of his points in production come from the power play. And I feel like, that being said, he wouldn't be the player he is without that power play with Stamkos and Headman.
I agree. They have one of the top 5 power plays in the league.
Exactly, but I think that that he still continues, like, that's why he's not on the top, because I feel like for a player to be like a super standout player and the best players in the league, it's 5-on-5 hockey. I feel like 5-on-5 hockey really like makes it what like a player and who they are. And yes, that's why I have Kucherov at number 4. Number 3, I have Sidney Crosby. Got Sidney Crosby because he, no matter what injuries he has, like no matter what's going on, he always finds a way to get things done. And I have Crosby at 3 because I feel like he's an all-around player. He's the most all-around player in the NHL. And since we're ranking forwards, I think that he ranks number 3 because there are 2 better forwards than him. But as an overall player, I think he's probably one of, if not the best. So yeah. Number 2.
You sound like you're going, like you're writing a test at school and you're like, I picked Crosby because.
Well, I am. I can't mess up in front of Eric. Show my work. No.
You can do anything you want. It's your birthday.
Number 2, I have
Explain your
Nathan MacKinnon.
answer.
I will explain why I have Nathan MacKinnon now. I have Nathan MacKinnon at number 2 because he's not as good as Connor McDavid. Oops, spoiler for number 1. But no, Nathan MacKinnon. No, Nathan MacKinnon. He just he's such a dominant player. Like when his surrounding cast is obviously really good with like Rantanen and Landeskog, but I feel like MacKinnon he stands out every year and he gets so many points and he just does so much and and I have him there just like his speed, his agility, like everything about him. I just kind of love the way he plays. And he's also got like a similar game to my number one, which is Connor McDavid. Same thing with Connor McDavid. The speed is kind of what really stands out for me as like a number one forward. So like in that sense, yes, he's the best. I say he's the best player in the NHL as well. But yeah, like his speed, his ability to produce, he does get a lot of points on the power play, but it's just like when you look at Edmonton too, like he doesn't have that strong of a supporting. Like he's got Draisaitl, but they don't even play on the same line, right, Eric? I don't think.
No, they only on power play.
Yeah, so they play power
Well,
play together. So
They played on the same line for the start of the like around the start of the season, but then they just switched it back to top two centermans.
yeah, so I mean McDavid with like he does carry the Oilers. Like there's no like getting around that. He and Draisaitl carry the Oilers, and it's like I just think he just does everything. So that's my top 5 forwards.
Yeah, there's nothing really I would disagree with. I mean, like when I read my list, you'll see, but yeah, everything's solid.
Awesome.
Jude, anything? All right, I
Personal
guess.
opinion, he's got right to that. So yeah, go ahead.
All right, leggy boy. All
Leggy boy.
right.
Bro, what?
Let me just pull up my list here. So at 5, I had Alex Ovechkin. Same reason as Felly. You know, he's aging out, but he's still up there. One of the greatest goal scorers of all time. Then I got 4. I got Sidney Crosby. I mean, still one of the best players, and similar to Ovechkin, he's aging out, but he still can hold his own and definitely shows dominance to every other player he plays against. So it's an easy number 4 pick. At number 3, change up from Felly's Nathan MacKinnon at number 3. I mean, I think he's just about to be like Connor McDavid level, but once he gets that team around him, once they finalize the pieces, I think the Avalanche are going to be unstoppable. But he's just not there yet, and we're going to wait for him to be there. And then number 2 and number 1, I got to go with my Oilers. I mean, I'm a big Oilers fan, as you can see.
It's a flat
Yo,
hat from
yo,
grade
show,
6.
I gotta wear this
yeah,
hat
oh,
for the
that's
rest.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
You
So
literally look like the grade 6s that like walk around.
it actually
They think
suits
they're
me.
drippy. They
It
think they're
actually suits
drippy.
me.
Like you lose about 4 years with that on.
All right.
Like more.
We're taking it back to 2016. I mean, I wouldn't
Exactly.
mind taking it back there. It was a good year.
Honestly.
All right, Eric, continue.
No coronavirus.
Yeah. So at number 2, I have Leon Draisaitl, and at number 1, I have McDavid. I just think those the duo of those guys, they're just unstoppable. Like you can't
Bold.
stop them. What?
Bold. Nothing.
Bold.
All right.
Draisaitl leads the league. It's not even close.
I just want to touch on that.
All
I
right.
obviously agree because we had 4 of the same players.
Yeah.
The only difference with us was you had Draisaitl in there and I had Kucherov.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, either one, I guess you can kind of argue with, but I feel like Draisaitl, like, yeah, he's good, but like at the same time, I just see him like he gets so many power play points. The Oilers have the top power play in the league now, so I mean, obviously, like props to him for doing that, and like it's obviously still hard to score. It's the NHL, but I don't know. Having him at number 2, I think, is a little bit high.
I just think like when McDavid was injured and stuff for like those 3 weeks, like
he did take over.
He did take it. He averaged more points without him. So and like the power play, like and even when McDavid wasn't there, like who do they have? They have Yamamoto,
Zach
Cassian. Like
I mean, yeah. If we're talking about
good there,
we are talking about this year, so I can agree with that for sure. He did stand out this year, so
yeah. Jude, do you have anything to rebuttal mine?
No, that's all you. It's bold, but it's agreed, and you're entitled to your opinion. So that's something I love. So perfect.
Yeah, I'm ready for yours.
Beauty.
All right. So I've been recently persuaded by these two numbskulls, Numbskull 1 and Birthday Boy. You know the numbskull.
Oh.
So recently I had Brad Marchand at 4, but I have changed that. So
It has nothing to do with the fact that we're Leaf fans, okay?
Yeah.
It only had to do with
this change up is just for the future coming in the goal chase, that I'm kind of cheering him on for, to chase Gretzky. So at number 5 I got Alexander Ovechkin, just all-time goal scorer, for sure for our generation. He's a generational goal scorer. He's when he's in his office, he's scary. Even Holtby said that. Holtby said he's glad not to play against him. So that's how you know you're a scary player. At number 4,
Can I just touch on that for a second?
Yeah.
Ovechkin, he's like that spot on the power play you were saying. He just sets up there and takes 1-2s.
Yeah.
I'm not an NHL coach, but I never understood why they don't just stand there with him. Why don't they get one guy to stand there with him? Why do they not get one guy to stand on the dot with him, and then make it a
4-on-3?
a 4-on-3? That would make so much sense to me.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, you have John Carlson at the point, absolute rocket, and I don't know, like,
But
I know
you can
exactly
cover him.
what you mean, but
you can cover him
power.
if it's a 4-on-3. You can have a triangle and cover. I get what you're saying, but like, I'm not an NHL coach. I don't know why no one has ever thought, oh, I'm just gonna put someone on because he scores all his goals from there.
No, maybe they're cheering him on.
Like, I have no idea.
He wants
They
him to
want him
catch
to get the
Everyone
big
wants him to catch Gretzky.
Well, I've seen games where Ovechkin will be on the power play. He'll literally get like 13, 15 shots in a game.
Yeah.
From that spot.
Mhm.
Like my ESHL guy.
I guess that's just me. That's just what I think. But
Yeah,
if
you're
any
one
NHL,
leggy boy.
For sure.
since I'm gonna be an NHL coach one day, I'm just advising all NHL coaches now to do that. So.
All right, Jude.
Thank you for
Keep
that.
going with your leggy list.
He's not that laggy.
Was I lagging at Alexander Ovechkin?
No, after that.
No, you're fine, man.
All right. So next is, I feel like we've all had like different ranges for this player, and mine is Patrick Kane. Am I lagging?
Yeah. Just keep going.
Patrick Kane. Bro, I literally don't know what to do. Okay. And
It's good.
And I find Kane, he's got great hands. He's got great vision. He's an exceptional skater, and he doesn't have size like the other guys. So I think he's got that talent where he is. So I 4.
Sure.
What?
I mean, another point. I thought you made a good point there, that for being 5'8" or whatever it is, the impact that he's
11.
made in the NHL, whatever, being like a small guy in the NHL, below average, he the fact that he's made such an impact, that puts him like that makes him pretty high also on my list. But
well, then Nathan Gerby should be high.
Pretty close. No, but he hasn't made the same impact. You know what I mean?
But for his height.
Yeah.
For his height, maybe.
Eric, just because he's taller than you doesn't mean he's making.
I'm taller than him. I'm taller than Nathan.
Eric thinks he can make the NHL because he's taller. He's an inch taller than Nathan Gerby.
Bro, I'm getting drafted. You already know.
Yeah, that's his Oilers. That's actually a sneak peek at this year's draft. The 02 class, Eric Fogarty is actually going 16th overall. If you ever know.
Yeah, exactly.
They already sent him his draft hat. So. As long as he doesn't go before then.
Yeah.
No, who knows? He's got a bunch of hats. Like, a ton of teams sent you shit, right?
Yeah, of course.
For sure.
It's crazy.
All right, keep going with your list.
All right. Next up, I got Nathan MacKinnon. Obviously, as Felly said, he's a dominant player. He's a great goal scorer. He's just fast, you know. Number 2, I got McJesus, Connor McDavid. I know you guys despise me. I hope that face was because you didn't like the McDavid and not because I'm lagging. I just
No.
find, me and Felly had different outlooks on this. As he said that, I'm obviously well, actually, you never know, but my one is Sidney Crosby, as he's a great two-way offensive player, and we both had different outlooks. Felly was more to the offensive side. I kind of look at Crosby as just an amazing overall player. With any type of, I think he could play literally any position, and I just find him a great player for that. So that's my list. I hope I
Yeah.
got through it.
I mean,
like
if we're talking all around players, I don't know, Crosby, he got the defensive side, he's got the offensive side.
Yeah.
Playmaker, sniper, like everything kind of. Right? So
Yeah.
in that
That
respect,
makes him
yeah,
scary too.
but I think just in the offensive aspect, if we're rating the
Yeah, for
forwards
sure.
for being forwards and doing what they're supposed to do, which is like get points and score goals mainly, most forwards. Yeah, that's
Well,
the
now we
only
know Phil
reason
doesn't back check, so
that I now we know Rafael doesn't back that really.
All right.
I said
well,
it fast.
Yeah, because you were lagging.
Yeah.
Now that we know Bella doesn't back check.
Bro, it literally sounds like you're lagging too.
Me?
Yeah, because just the way you're saying it really fast.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Shall
I
shall
start
we
with the
move on to
defenseman.
defenseman? Eric?
I
Schultz.
wanna
You
start.
know what? You know who's gonna call the shots? I'm gonna call Eric. You start.
I'm the host. It says in the
No, it's my birthday.
says in the
It's my
intro.
birthday. It's my birthday.
All right. I'll toss the host over to you. Here, I'll
Birthday
give you.
boy.
The host has to have the McDavid hat. All right, ready?
Okay, toss it over. Imagine I actually got it.
That'd be so cool.
Imagine I actually picked up an Oilers hat.
He's looking around his room for one.
Bro, you're like.
Bro.
Say it in a non-robotic voice.
I said, bro, he's looking around his room for one.
Oh, I'd respect you if you had one.
I don't like the Oilers.
Poo you. Okay. Actually, I can swear. Fuck you.
My
I feel
favorite
so
team.
left out.
No, I don't like the Oilers. My favorite team is actually the Boston Bruins. So.
Hold on, I'm gonna drink some water and just spit take everywhere.
Imagine.
Nice flag you got there, Boston fan.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. I want to start with the defenseman because I have some very strong opinions. Obviously, if I were to categorize myself as a forward, I'd put myself as a two-way forward, similar to Anze Kopitar
In a
Patrice
select All-Star
Bergeron.
game.
Oh my God! 5-time select All-Star champion, baby. But yeah. So number
Nathan
5.
Gerby.
Shut up.
Go ahead.
Number 5, I have Cale Makar. He's still young and stuff, but I think he's already there. Like he put up almost a point per game as a defenseman as a rookie too. So, and he's already one of the top defensemen along with Quinn Hughes. Number 4, I have Alex Pietrangelo. We're gonna get into him later in the podcast, but
yes, we are gonna go deeper into that.
But he had an amazing year. I think he was 6th in defenseman's point scoring. I mean, he's getting a little old, but he's definitely
only 30. He's only 30.
Yeah, he's only 30. But like he's getting into his like he's end of prime. But he he puts up the points, he plays defense, he's a leader, so how can you not have that guy in your top 5? So number 3, I have Roman Yossi. I think this one's a little controversial, but he had an amazing year. I think he finished 2nd, right behind John Carlson in points, and he's doing it all by himself. He has no one on.
He was like 20 points behind.
Okay, yeah. But he was still 2nd. Well, I mean, how can you catch John Carlson?
Yeah,
but sure. he did it all himself. The Predators they don't have good goaltending. They don't have good forwards. So, I mean, for him to do what he did, it's very impressive. Number 2, I have Victor Headman. I mean, he can do it on both ends, offense and defense, and like that powerhouse of a team, he glues it all together, and it really makes it hard to not put him anywhere else. And
Yeah, I
number
mean-
one, oh yeah, you can go.
Sorry. Honestly, though, when you said that, like powerhouse of a team, I started thinking about it. When you think about Tampa, they literally have on every aspect. You start at goalie, they have Vasilevsky. Then you go to defenseman, they've got Carlson. Then you go to forwards, and they got Kucherov and
You
Stamkos
mean
and Point.
you mean they have Headman, not Carlson?
Sorry, I meant Headman. Did I say Carlson?
Edmund
Yeah.
Sergachev, like all these.
I meant Headman. Sergachev, yeah. Like they don't have a weak spot. It's kind of crazy when you
Mhm.
think about it.
They actually do have a
Anyway,
weak
sorry.
spot.
What's the weak
What?
spot?
Columbus.
Vasilevsky's
Fair enough.
consistency.
Fair enough. But anyways, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's hard to be a consistent goalie when you're on like a
Yeah, but they
first
also have
team.
McElhaney as the backup, which is absolutely insane. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And then number one, obviously, I think you can't go with anyone else, but just because of the year he had, John Carlson. There's nothing else has to be said.
Felly looks controversial. All right,
Yeah,
who's
yeah.
next?
Jude, you go ahead. We'll do a snake
Next.
draft.
All right. I'm gonna start off with the Boston Bruins, Torey Krug. I just find him as he's a great defenseman at number 5. Eric, you went off stats. Why are you making faces? All right. I just find he's overall he's great in the playoffs. He's great on the power play. He's great 5-on-5. I just find him all around. He was dominant in the playoffs, as everyone knows. Like the hit on Robert Thomas and everything. He's a force, and he's not really to be reckoned with at 5'9", and he's got great speed. Next, I got Morgan Riley. Absolutely amazing offensive defenseman. This is just as I said, like this is both. He can play both like no one's business.
Except when it comes
amazing.
to McDavid.
He's got an incredible shot, good speed, and he's a perfect fit for our Leafs, the Leafs. And then at 3, I got Alexander Pietrangelo. I think he's as Eric said, he's old, but he's not old enough yet. And he could also be a great fit for the Leafs. He was an amazing fit for this defending Stanley Cup champions, reigning, whatever you want to say. Absolutely locked down on defense. Block shots, stood in front of Bennington like is no one's business, and he's also got great speed for that 6'4", 6'3" frame of his. Number 2, I got Victor Headman, standing at 6'6". He's an absolute beast, and he's got good skating, and he's got a great shot. It's it'd be hard to get past him and then get into that D zone. And number 1, I know me and Eric can agree on this. Belly, I don't know, but I'm going with John Carlson. Incredible skater, perfect defensive height. So he's got a great shot. He can. Am I lagging?
Yeah, no, you're fine.
You
You're
just
fine.
did. You're fine now.
And he's just setting up OV all the time. So, I mean, when you got a guy to set him up, and you're also a defensive threat, it makes for a good power play. So that's my top 5.
Yeah.
Me.
Well, I have 2 things.
Awesome.
I have 2 things to say. The first one I found pretty funny when you were talking about Alex Pietrangelo. I just saw Felly start writing stuff down, changing his list.
No, I was actually not changing.
He's writing
my list.
down things for the Leafs.
I was
thing.
writing down things because he brought stuff to my head about what we're going to talk about later with Pietrangelo. So I just started writing down some ideas I had.
All right, fair enough.
But no, I definitely I did not change my list. Do not worry.
Well, I just had something to add on to Jude's,
go ahead.
or just to disagree with. I just don't think Torey Krug. There's so many other defensemen. Torey Krug, man, at least Charlie McAvoy, is just way better. He's
no.
glue to that team, to that young core.
Okay, here's the thing.
But he played good in Boston, college, or wherever he played, and that was it.
I can see where Jude's coming from with Krug. Like, it's kind of like that. It's kind of like another Patrick Kane for Jude's pick there. It's like he's small and makes an impact.
He's an incredible offensive threat. I think he plays an almost identical game to Morgan Riley. So if anything, you could chirp out Morgan Riley.
The thing is, no, I would say he's like Morgan Riley is like him on steroids.
Yeah.
Like Morgan Riley's just a much better version of Torey Krug. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't even compare them. Like, I remember last year in the series against Boston, I remember trying to compare the teams. Like, I took both their lineups and I was like comparing it, and I was like, we just have such a I specifically was comparing Riley and Krug, because Krug's their top defenseman, that's so to say, Zdeno Chara, but and Riley's ours, and I was like, there's not really comparing them. Like, you can't. I just feel like Riley's so much better. Anyways.
I mean, Zdeno Chara is a top defenseman.
Height-wise.
Get it? Height. Yeah. Okay. I guess we can move on from Jude's controversial list.
Sure.
All right, bro. You got to be able to say the word to.
I'll start at number 5. I'll start at
All right,
number
let's hear it,
5.
Philly.
What I noticed with my list, just looking at it right now, is it's pretty offensive. And there's one player.
It's offensive. Like what?
Why do they swear a lot or something? Like what is it?
There's one player that nearly you guys have, which I found kind of interesting. Anyways, I'll get started at number 5. I got Cale Makar. I just feel like Makar came into the league with such an impact right away, and like the amount of points he's putting up, he has like 50 points this year already. So it's his first year in the NHL. Like, forwards sometimes, like he did better than Jack Hughes did, and Jack Hughes is number 1 overall pick. You know what I mean? Like, and he is a bit older, but defenseman, like he's just such a good offensive threat, and he's so fast. That's another thing that I love about him. So then I got number 4. I have Morgan Riley. Morgan Riley, obviously, just such a great D. You can pair him up with basically anybody, and he's just like he is offensive, but he is also two-way. He can take care of his own end. I mean, I do have a little bit of a bias on him just because I have watched him so much just from watching Leaf games. I just I love the game he plays. He can hit anybody going through the neutral zone. He can skate the puck. He can knock the puck off defenders. He just doesn't make mistakes. So, that's why I have Morgan Riley at 4. And then number 3, you guys are gonna have to let me know about this one, what you think. But number 3, I have Thomas Chabot. I got Chabot. Okay, listen. I think Chabot, I have a similar. He just got a huge contract. He just got like a really big contract, 7 years, something like that. But he also just came into the league and made such an impact. And I remember watching him in the World Juniors, I think, a couple of years ago. And I remember just thinking he's going to be really good. Like, he was so good. So, I don't know. And he does make an impact. Go ahead, Jude.
All right, just in case I was lagging. I agree. He's a great defenseman, but I feel like there's got to be like a little bit of comparing when you come into the league and you're with Ottawa. So like Erik Karlsson kind of thing. I don't know, like everyone looked at Erik Karlsson as a franchise as he was new, and he put it like a identical impact. He's not doing much this year, but at the same time, I definitely I don't know where I'm getting at this, but I feel like he's just not as franchise as.
I'll finish your thought.
I get what he's saying. That being said, he is playing for Ottawa, as you said, and that makes it 3 times as hard.
Yeah, he has no one
to be good. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that many like outlets or whatever.
The thing is, like Carlson kind of made a name for himself in those final 2 years, like not counting the years with Alfredson and stuff like that.
He carried Ottawa to the conference finals.
Right.
So
you're right. And they didn't even sell at the stadium. Anyways.
Well, I just wanted to touch on one thing. Like, obviously, like, I think Chabot's like an amazing defenseman, and he's definitely going to be good in the years to come. But just based off the year he had, like, it was like he didn't reach anyone's expectations.
You know what I think happened?
Ottawa didn't, but still.
With him, he got that huge contract, and that happens sometimes with players. Like, when they get a huge contract like that, they kind of stop performing because they think like, oh, it's just kind of given. Like, I'm making millions of dollars in the next 7 years. What do I kind of need to, you know what I mean? But like I
Yeah.
kind of made it already. But I think he's gonna straighten out. But I don't know. That was just kind of like a personal thing for me. I've always had him at like such a high rated
That's kind of like
defenseman.
that's like kind of me in the Torey Krug thing too. So
Yeah, like I've always
I know
kind
where you're
of
coming from.
the past couple of years I've just seen him as such a standout. Like any kind of footage I've watched or like games, and especially in the World Juniors too. Like he was just such a standout player that I've always seen him as like a really good player, defenseman. Anyways, number 2, I have John Carlson. Obviously, he had like the best year of his career, and he did really well. Offensive guy. I think he's really good for Washington. He's got a great shot. He could work on his speed a little bit, but he's huge. Yeah, I mean, he's at number 2 because he's better than the average defenseman. He's better. He just is. And he showed it this year. And then number 1, I have Victor Headman. I've got Headman there because I feel like Headman does it all. Like he's offensive, but at the same time you can really trust him back in your own end too. And he's everything. Like he's big, he's a hitter, he's got a hard shot, he's got offense, he's got defense. For me, he's just like the all-around guy, and if I was starting up a team, he'd be like one of the first guys I put on it.
All right,
That's
I
fair.
think we have pretty similar defensive core kind of players, but I got one question for you. What are those? No, I'm just kidding. Where is Alex Pietrangelo, Philly? Where is he? Is he at 6? Is he at 7? Why is he not in that top 5? Philly? I need a little bit. Why Shabbat over him?
Honestly, Pietrangelo, I've never looked at him as just like a. Obviously, he is. Obviously, he's an all-star elite defenseman. He would be at number 6 for me. Like he was like it was literally between him and Makar, and I was just like I think Makar's a bit more interesting to talk about, like because I think Makar's got a huge such a bright future, and I just like the way he plays like more than like his style is just like he's kind of smaller, he's faster, he's offensive, and then Pietrangelo I don't know, I like him. He's a leader. He's obviously offensive and he's got experience. But yeah, no, he's right there for me. So.
All right, that's good to hear. At least that you have him at 6. And just wrapping up the defenseman, I think we should make one more honorable mention. Probably the guy that's at everyone's number 6. If you didn't make the list, Jake Gardiner. Big shout out to him.
Jake the Mistake. Love that guy.
I've never heard that one before.
He was the best thing that happened to the Leafs in a long time. Getting rid of him, I mean. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's hop right into goalies then. Who wants to go first? Actually, wait here. I volunteer Jude to go first because he's a goalie.
Okay. We'll volunteer Jude to go first.
Yeah, he can build off his list.
All right, boys. Okay, so I got a pretty controversial. Okay, man, I messed up. He messed up, so maybe mess up. All right. I'm going with the. I've kind of had like the 5 to 4 at the kind of smaller guys. So I'm going with Yossi Saros. He's up and now. He came from a backup to Pekka, 6'5" Pekka Rinne, and Pekka was dominating the league, and as he's 37 some odd years old, something like that, his time is kind of leaving, and everyone's been like, oh, I don't know about Saros, I don't know about this kid, and he came in and he just top 10 GAA, top 10 SVV, like everything. He's just going, and I love him because he's 5'11", 5'10", pretty much, and I just love him as a goalie. And then, okay, just because I know stats too
No,
well.
you were speed talking again.
Okay. And then at 4, I got the Frenchie Marc-Andre Flurry. Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's his birthday. He can do what he wants.
Okay. Marc-Andre Fleury. I just find he was great for Pittsburgh in his prime. And then he's just reached another prime with Vegas, and he's just absolutely dominated the league as a goalie. Team Canada, he's unbelievable. I think he's just been a great goalie, and Pittsburgh slept on him with Murray. At number 3, I got the Richmond Hill goalie, Jordan Bennington. Ever since he came into the league a year and a bit ago, he played phenomenal. He turned that team from a last place team into a Stanley Cup, not only contending but championship team. That team was absolutely nothing, and I just think there's still obviously time, but I see no hangover. I see nothing with Bennington, and I think he keeps working hard, and he can be a top 2 goalie in the National Hockey League soon. Number 2, I got the infamous Kiss. He is, I think everyone's got to have him on the list. May have not had his best year. He's been kind of more on the inconsistent route, joining Vasilevsky on that inconsistency. But I think he is just watching the way he moves. He's smooth. He's fast. And he can stop the puck like no one else can. And
Wait,
number 1,
who's at your number 2 spot?
That was Carrie Price.
Carrie Price.
Okay.
And at number 1, I got got someone who's more of a breakout year this year, but he's always been good. 6'5" Darcy Kemper. He's a huge goalie. He's fast. Aside from injury this year, he's dominating the stats too, and I think he's just my way to go, and I think he's going to be a franchise goalie for the Yotes for the coming years. So that's my top 5 as a goalie.
Can't argue with much of that.
Yeah.
I would
especially to a goalie.
Yeah. I would question, well, not question, but just maybe ask about who was it, Saros or whatever?
Yeah.
At the at number 5.
Number 5, yeah.
What was your thought process through that? It's just
so pretty much, I don't know. I went through a lot. There's a lot of goalies coming in and out in the NHL. But I don't know. I find Hellebuck was coming in there. He was like it was maybe Hellebuck, Saros, and then inconsistency and just the way Saros has been playing this season.
Mm-hmm.
And also mostly it's me not being 6'5" and him not being 6'5". It's that was really biased.
You feel like a bit of a connection, so
for sure.
Understood.
Me and Anton Khudobin.
I feel a bit of a connection with Connor McDavid myself, so I totally feel you.
Dude, I just have one question for you.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is Tuukka Rask?
buddy. Okay, all right.
Let me go here.
All right. Let's hear it.
Tuukka Rask. Let's just, Eric. I don't know what you were talking about, but my number 5 goalie is Carter Hart. Carter Hart came into the league a couple of years ago. He became a starter this year, correct? But no, he's already made an impact, and a quick impact. And for a goalie to do something like that, it's kind of crazy. And you can just tell.
Wait, so are we just on your list now?
Yeah, we're on my list now.
Okay.
What did you?
No, I wanted to get into a Rask.
Oh, you want? Okay.
We can get it when I say my goalies.
Scratch my
All right. Continue, Felly.
No, we can. Okay, cool.
Birthday boy.
No. Okay, cool.
Okay. No, Carter Hart. Yeah. So he's young. He's got a bright future, and you can just tell he's gonna be good. And he already did perform really well this year.
If I can
go ahead.
Interrupt there a little bit. I think that's a great choice. He's not bad height. He's like that perfect goalie height. He's not too big, and he plays extremely similar to Carrie Price. So he's got that smooth, buttery pushes and everything. He's a great goalie. That's a great choice, Felly. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
No problem.
The best birthday gift ever.
I just have a feeling I'm gonna get ripped on with my choices.
Jude agreeing with me. But no, that's actually for sure. That's That's a great point. He's just clean. Like
Eric's changing his goalies right now. Look, his face turned white.
No, I was just checking my
Okay.
list to see who I had again.
he
Continue,
just
fellas.
makes like clean moves. Like he's very sturdy.
For sure.
Very
Yeah,
sturdy.
he's a franchise tendy for sure. Yeah,
Oh, for sure. I can see him being huge. For sure.
for sure.
Okay.
We should have a
number
drinking
4.
game, and every time we say for sure, we just take a shot, and every time Jude scratches his beard, we have to take a shot.
Bro, we can't do that. We can't do that. He can do it in Montreal, but
Yes.
we can't do it.
The viewers, if you want a drinking game, we'll give you a quick little drinking game. Anytime we say for sure, drink. Anytime Jude scratches his beard, drink. Anytime I fix my hat,
I would never do
drink.
that.
So,
And every time I say
anyways.
all right, you can drink.
All right.
Yes.
All right, let's get into it.
all right. Okay. Number 4, Marc-Andre Fleury. First pick in the expansion draft. He had a little bit of a rough patch, but this year he was a starter on Vegas. He stood out. He did everything that they needed him to do, and
For
more.
sure, he got Babcock fired and all that. So,
Twice.
so that's just what he did.
But yeah. So that's why I have him at 4.
Wait,
Great choice.
just a correction. He wasn't the first overall pick for the expansion draft.
He was.
Yes,
No.
he was.
They went in alphabetical order through the teams.
Are you sure? But he was like
Yeah.
the first guy to go on stage, was he not?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, but they're like all the players were. It was alphabetical
What is
order.
F
They
the
were,
first
like,
letter?
No, like by teams. Like the first pick, they got the first team to go was like whatever team starts with an A. I forget.
Anaheim?
Yeah, Anaheim. Anaheim was the first team.
Okay. Anyways, my bad. My mistake.
I thought.
My mistake.
I don't know. I thought he did too.
Moral
I don't know.
story.
I think he wasn't
No, I
chosen
swear because
first,
I watched
but
it.
he was
I
the
watched it.
most.
I swear to
Yeah,
God, I watched
remember
the
that.
Pawn
I remember that.
Stars.
He walked out in the spoot.
I watched the Pawn Stars episode where they went to this guy brought in a Marc-Andre Fleury jersey.
Yeah, I
and
remember that.
And he was talking about how he was the first player to wear a Vegas Golden Knights jersey.
That's me with Chumlee. That's me with Chumlee, guys.
You know what? And in that episode, Chumlee became a goalie, and Marc-Andre Fleury was giving him. It's a really funny episode.
I watched
Yeah,
it.
I've seen
Give it a
that.
watch. It's hilarious.
Give it a watch. It's really funny. But anyways, I have my number 4. Our brains veered off for a little bit.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Chumlee.
so number 3, Carrie Price. Once again, he didn't have a great year. Just same kind of reason as Jude. He's just always kind of there, and obviously I don't like Montreal at all, but I've always had respect for Carrie Price, because he's been such a good goalie.
For sure.
And he's solid. Like there's no questioning it. He's just a solid goalie.
And he made it kind of like he made it as like a small goalie out of nowhere. Right?
I appreciate him for Canada, but not for Montreal.
Exactly. I
like the other type of Canadian. Sorry, go fella.
So number 2, I have Frederick and I'm kidding.
Oh my bro, I was oh my god.
Vesatoskla.
Bro.
I actually have Raycroft.
You have David Aries.
So I've got Connor Hellebuyck. How do you say it? Hellebuyck, whatever.
Oh, can you stop swearing, please?
No, I have him there because he's also just a really solid goalie. Clean, he's big, he makes the right saves. He makes big saves when he needs to make them. And yeah, there's really not much else to say. He's just a solid goalie, and that's why I have him above. He gets wins and he pulls out games. So
he carries that team a lot of the times.
He does. So
agreed, but I feel like he doesn't have a top 10 right now with GAA. And if that's as he lost Dustin Byfuglien, I feel like that was a big part of their team, their defensive core, and for that goalie himself, for sure. It just kind of like Price and Subban. He kind of fell off when he lost Subban, but on that note, I just think Hellebuyck isn't who he used to be. He's still been pulling out wins like left and right out of his rear end, but I think he continues to be kind of inconsistent, and that's why I don't know. He'd maybe be my top 10, but yeah, good
Yeah,
pick,
well,
Philly.
just to add to that, not only did they lose Bufflin, but they also lost Truba.
Truba,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
But they got that good offense, so
he does carry the team a lot of the time. So it's kind of why I had him there. If they didn't have him, who knows what they would be.
Yeah, they'd be below the Red Wings.
Yeah.
I mean, Laurent Brossoit pulls out wins too, so it comes down to just high scoring games. I find with the Jets.
Yeah, but he's also Laurent Brossoit, so.
It's true.
Why you do my boy Laurent like that?
Number 1, I have Andrei Vasilevsky. I like his flashiness. Like when I watch him, he just stands out to me because he's so flashy. He flashes the leather. He gets across the crease. He's also super solid. That being said, he's inconsistent. But I just love the way he plays. I think he is the best goalie in the NHL with like no hands, like with hands down. Like he's just the number 1 guy. If I was starting a team, once again, he would be my first goalie. Yeah, like there's really, and that's kind of saying a lot for me too, that Headman would be my first defenseman and Vasilevsky would be my first goalie that's trying to show
Philly's a closet Tampa fan, so
I hate Tampa. No, I really don't like Tampa, but I'm just showing that. But
yeah, they're a good team.
Vasilevsky's my number 1 goalie.
Yeah,
he does get a lot of help from the team, but
yeah,
in the end, he gets wins.
Philly said all my points, so
Listen,
it's still hard for good goalies to stay relevant and like consistent in any way when you're on a good team.
Yeah,
So
and I
hard.
mean, listen, like he gets wins, obviously with help from the team, but wins are so important. Like I think like the best goalies, it's just like winning is like the best. I don't care really about GAA or save percentage. It's just like if a goalie can win, they're like in my eyes, it's like the top thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, on that note, we'll switch over to my list, which I think is going to be a little controversial.
Nope, you're not allowed.
That note, that's why we know you guys are forwards. Yeah, sorry, Eric. Podcast's done. Sorry, wrapping it up here, bud.
Shut up.
All right. Let's hear that number 5, big boy.
All right, number 5, I have Carrie Price. I mean, I think he's just too inconsistent, and like he's still a top goalie in my opinion, but there's other goalies that are currently doing better than him and are pulling wins off.
He's getting up there in age.
We'll come back to him after we hear those top 4.
Well, he's getting up there in age too, so
yeah,
for sure.
So, I mean, he still has like a few good years.
So
yeah, for sure. At number 4, I have Jordan Bennington. Now, I almost didn't put him on my list, but I felt like I had to because he's just off the Stanley Cup. Usually you have the Stanley Cup hangover, and this guy's just blowing through everyone. I mean, not as good as last year, but still at a level that we didn't expect. So
that didn't sound very good.
So he's blowing past everyone.
To go off that, he doesn't look nervous, if you ask me.
Like does he look nervous to you guys?
He doesn't look nervous to me.
He's not nervous. Like look at him out
there. At number 3, I have Andrei Vasilevsky. I mean, like the flashiness, the wins, everything.
Tuukka Rask at number 1. I swear to God. Look, he's switching it right now.
No, I'm not. Number 2, I have Darcy Kemper. I mean, Jude kind of opened my eyes to him because I didn't see him as a top goalie, but just I'm a big stats guy and I can't look away from those stats. And I mean,
he's a lead dominator.
If we're talking about news, they're looking to go to a 24-team system. So I think having Kemper in hand, the Arizona Coyotes actually have a chance to do well in the playoffs, especially if he's healthy and stuff. So
for sure.
Yeah. For sure, man.
And at number 1, I mean, you guys guessed it, Tuukka Rask. You know, I can't. I don't know how he's not the top goalie. He gets the wins. He gets the stats. And I mean, he's a former Leaf, but we have to put bias aside
Did he
and
play a
just
game?
accept the fact. No,
I
he
Did he
know.
did
I
play a
not.
don't think
game?
he did.
He
No,
got
no.
traded in the draft.
It's
Yeah.
absurd, man.
But
That's
we have
yeah.
to put all bias aside
crazy.
here. And Tuukka Rask is the best goalie in the NHL.
All right. All
There's
right.
a
All right. All
dreaded-
right. All right.
there's a-
All right.
There's a dreaded picture of Tuukka Rask in a Leafs jersey at the draft.
I
and
know.
It's just,
I know. It's evil. It's
It's
evil.
so hard to
It's a
look at,
cursed
man.
picture.
It is. We the Leafs pass up. Like the Leafs could have had Carter Hart as well in the
Mhm.
last draft, but instead, or like in Carter Hart's draft, but instead they picked Igor Korshkov a couple picks ahead of him. Like, come on, you know,
Mhm.
you gotta see that kind of talent.
Bro, what do you mean?
but-
Korshkov is a top 6?
Oh yeah, you're right.
What position does he play?
I don't even know.
All right. So
Right.
I
I
have
think
a
he's
few.
played I think he's played one game though, and he's got one goal. So
Yeah, he
Elite.
let's not
scores.
sleep
Elite.
on him.
Or is that
So,
Orzaganov?
No, that's Ovechkin was a defenseman from the KHL.
Oh,
Different story.
okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Jude.
So I have some goalie comments. So obviously Vasilevsky, I don't know what it was since he came into the NHL. I've never been like, oh yeah, like Vasilevsky's my guy. Like this is, even though we're both Bauer goalies, like bias aside, I just do not. I don't find him at all. I find he's run by the media. I really find that. He lets in a lot of sloppy goals if you watch him. If you fully watch him in depth. He's dominated highlight reels for the past few years. So I totally get where forwards and players who really don't focus on that come from. And I just find he's not that high up. So that's just my personal opinion. You guys still probably love him. Tuukka Rask, on the other hand, I find he's definitely he's a good goalie. He's got great movement, pretty good height. But he's got that team in front of him, similar to Vasilevsky, that I find. Tuukka Rask also inconsistency, but he can play under pressure, and that's one thing that we did not see Vasilevsky do, getting pulled twice against Columbus or something like that, something absurd in the playoffs like that. So clearly he's not a pressure type guy, and Rask can handle it. Definitely wouldn't put him top. Just you heard my list, but I could say Rask is a top 10 goalie. And first, you're head over heels for this guy. I don't know if you got a crush on Rask or something, but
Reminds me of Cindy Lou.
that's your that's your personal opinion. I respect it, and also Hellebuck, is another guy. Just I can't get behind if I get in a fight with trying to defend him. You're on your own, bud.
Why are you trying to get behind guys?
Why do you want to see bitter blow guys, you weirdo?
Well, he just blows by everyone. Don't even question it.
Jesus.
All right. So I guess that wraps up the debate of the top 15 players divided into 3 categories of positions.
Mhm.
See, I got it that time.
There you
So let's move on to more current day news. Well, not really current day. It's been floating around the air and kind of rumored,
Mhm.
but I think we can all agree that there's definitely some talk of Pietrangelo coming to the Leafs.
Yeah, I think we should just get right into that.
Mhm.
The Leafs are obviously a top runner for Pietrangelo, and it's actually a pretty good free agency this year. Both Pietrangelo and Torey Krug are both free agents. Like I said, Torey Krug's not as good as Pietrangelo, obviously, but yeah, I mean that could be huge for kind of any team. I mean, there's a bunch of teams kind of in the running, but I guess the main thing we're going to talk about is the Leafs. So, like, what kind of changes do you guys think that could make for the Leafs?
Eric, do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I
You
don't know.
can explain your thoughts.
As you guys know, like, I talked highly of Bennington. So, I watched a lot of the Blues, and I've been watching a lot of the Blues, and I just find, Bennington looks more comfortable with Pietrangelo on the ice, and I think he's talked about it before. And that it doesn't just start on the ice. It's really right now our leaders are kind of Tavares and Riley a little bit, but like if you were to put like for like something to happen in the locker room, I'd trust Tavares most. And then you put Pitchy in there, and you got another locker room leader like that, right? I just think he'd be great off the ice. And he's definitely an offensive defensive threat on the ice. I think he's a great all around player, and he'd be absolutely amazing for our team.
Yeah.
The Leafs.
agree.
I mean, I think like one of the main things for Pietrangelo, if I'm looking at his perspective, obviously I don't know what he's thinking, or no one does but him, but he's from the GTA. He's from the Toronto area. 20 minutes
City,
from
actually.
King City, 20 minutes from Toronto.
2 hours more like.
Yeah, 2 boat rides and 3 plane rides and you're there. But yeah, like he's from Toronto. Like it kind of is a trend. Like, and the Leafs honestly could clear cap space for him pretty easily. Barry's gone. It's kind of, it would be decently easy to clear some cap space, but I'm just reading here some other teams that are interested in him.
But before we get to that,
now,
wait.
Go ahead.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, it's kind of sad to see Barry didn't work out like expected. How we worked out on Colorado, and that's gonna suck that we're gonna have to open up cap space with an all-star defenseman like that. But see how we didn't make any of our lists and stuff, right? So.
I mean, I think that's the biggest difference between a guy like Pietrangelo and a guy like Barry. I mean, we were saying this about Barry at the beginning of the season too.
Yeah,
saying that he'd be a great fit. But the thing is, Barry and Riley have very similar playing techniques.
Exactly.
And if you want a strong top pairing, like I can't even imagine a pairing of Riley and Pietrangelo. It would be the best pairing in the NHL.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
In my eyes, that would be the best defense pairing in the whole NHL. But sorry, just to look at the teams here. Ottawa and Detroit have a lot of cap space and could entice Pietrangelo. I'm just reading here. And then just to touch on St. Louis, I think they know that they're not going to get him. I think he really wants to be a free agent because they made a lot of signings, and they have a lot of people to sign. But yeah, I don't know. I think he really wants to test out his free agency, and he might have signed an extension already if he wanted to go back. So
yeah, that's all true. I just think we have to look at it like we can't really say as much as that, like as much as you're saying you are. Okay, I need to get it out. If the NHL returns, which is most likely at this moment of time, then whoever wins the cup is going to have a big impact on free agency, I think, because like obviously if Toronto can make a run, St. Louis can make a run, anyone can really make a run, so that's going to be enticing for him as well. But if there are teams that are interested are like Detroit and Ottawa, obviously that's not very enticing. They just have lots of cap space and prospects. And by the time Pietrangelo's done, the prospects are going to start to be good. So I think if we're looking at this, it makes sense for him to either sign back with St. Louis if they can clear the cap space, or sign with the Leafs. And just signing with the Leafs, I mean, I don't want to jinx it and say he's the missing puzzle piece, but we tried Barry, it didn't work. We thought he was the puzzle piece.
And that's an offensive defenseman, right?
I think it's kind of like trial and error. Like, we tried Barry, and as the offensive defenseman he is, we thought we could have. This is kind of what the Leafs thought. I think is that they could put Riley with CC and then Barry with Muzzin to have like a big, strong guy with like an offensive guy as their top four. Which honestly, at the beginning of the season, I thought was an amazing idea. But obviously, Cody Ceci did not turn out to what we thought he was going to turn out to. And Barry didn't turn out to what we thought he was going to turn out to. So Barry and Muzzin was a really strong pairing, but Muzzin honestly kind of carried it.
Yeah.
But I think I love Barry. I love the way he plays. He was literally my favorite defenseman in the NHL before
I remember how hype Felly was and how much like this Pietrangelo talk right now was what we were talking about last year, which is with Barry and Felly was just hyping him up.
Yeah, no, like I was so happy. Eric actually texted me.
Yeah.
Like
I saw it on TSN. Yeah, he texted I saw it on TSN. I was like, no way.
Yeah, Eric texted me like the second I didn't like I had my phone like off or I was just watching Netflix or something, and Eric's like, Barry just signed with the Leafs, and I literally jumped up. I went nuts.
I remember it like nothing. I was driving home from work and like it was the end of trade deadline, was it not? It was like it was.
No, it was off season.
Yeah, it was off
season. Okay,
it was
off
summer.
Season. I was driving home from work and there's nothing going on in the TV, so it was like boring. And then there's not much happened today in hockey. Like I don't know, we were watching like golf or something. So on the way back, I'm literally scrolling through Instagram and then I just see like a text and I refresh my feed because like I just kind of saw like Barry or something. And then I refreshed it and I saw Barry and I got super hyped, but then I saw Kadri and I was like, no, like he might not be a great fit, but like he was grit and I don't know. I feel like he was. People know like, Kadri for that Leafs logo, right?
Yeah, I think Barry's name kind of just stood out to everyone because like he's well known as just like an all-star elite like defenseman. Everyone was kind of excited about it.
For sure,
and
I
still am. I still am. Like I love him. I love him as a defenseman. I think he didn't do as much as he could have, but then again, the Leafs had a lot of injuries this year, and he kind of had to take over as a top defenseman for 2 months while Riley was out. So
I wonder where he could go. And
I heard Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
because he's from there. So that's one of his landings. But when you think about the free agency this year for defensemen, you got Barry, Krug, and Pietrangelo all being free agents. So.
Insane.
Yeah.
Easy.
So I was just gonna say, imagine Barry and Hughes together, Quinn Hughes on them. But that's kind of like a Riley Barry kind of situation.
Yeah.
Offense. So.
I mean, just all this Barry talk and the trade talk got me thinking about a question that I think would be very interesting for people to hear. Just an opinionated question. Who do you guys think won that trade based on everything we know now? It's a tough question.
It's hard to say either, honestly, because I guess Kadri got like the second line for center there, and like he kind of made more of an impact there because if he stayed on the Leafs, he wasn't going to be the second line center. We have Tavares and Matthews, so in that respect, he was a better second line center for them than he was a third line center for us, I think. But then again, Barry made some big things. He did some big things for us, and he did have to take over. He like as much as he didn't do, he did a lot. Like when you think about it, CC and Riley were both out, and Muzzin. He's kind of the only guy that had to stay and do his job fully every game, like without all the D there. So he just kind of relied on like his minutes were nuts. So you can't really blame him. I'm sure he was tired. You could kind of see he's tired. But hopefully, I mean, if the season comes back, he's well rested. I'm still hopeful he can do big things for the Leafs. I mean, honestly, if he signed back here in free agency and not Pietrangelo or Krug, I'd be so happy. It would be great. And any three of those guys would be good, but we do need a righty.
For sure.
We do need a righty, so I don't know about Krug, but
yeah,
Pietrangelo would definitely make a good fit.
Maybe the Leafs can sign me. You never know.
Who knows?
For sure, you're an all-around player, you know.
and a righty. So
exactly.
That's exactly what the Leafs need.
Man.
But no,
if Vesatelsala can get a contract, I can get a contract.
Fair enough. I mean, in my eyes, I see Pietrangelo has two possible landing spots, and I'm not being biased, but Leafs or St. Louis.
Yep.
And I see St. Louis as they're gonna have a hard time signing him just because of all the guys they have to sign. Like I was reading something where they had like 9 or 10 guys that are like decent players on their team that they had to sign this year.
Yeah, like depth players.
So yeah, so they're gonna have a bit of trouble, but Obviously,
Yeah.
it would be great for either team to either for the Blues to get him back or at least to acquire him. But yeah,
Man,
you'd have
them
to make
said
him.
acquire.
You'd kind of have to make him an assistant captain, no?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What would they
Off the
do?
get-go. I don't know.
I
What would
think
they do?
you're allowed as many assistant captains as you want. They can just add him as an assistant captain.
They would just have to like rotate him in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
Right. Well, I mean, I just do you guys want to touch on the news that came out today of the 24 team?
so is that for sure that news? Like 100%?
That's what they're moving forward with. If the season continues, that's what they're planning on enforcing.
I think I like it. I feel like even just like 20 or like just a little bit of a smaller number, like 24. That means there's only 6 teams not
Yeah.
right. That means there's only 6 teams not in it. So if you're gonna do that, I mean, there's so many bottom teams, like teams that didn't have any chance for the playoffs now that
Mhm.
have a chance to potentially win the cup. So I don't know. I think like if you had a bad like not a great season and you weren't in the playoffs, a second chance like that, I don't know. I don't really like it.
Well, I think that
I'm sure if I was a fan of one of the teams that wasn't in the playoffs and gets a chance, I'd be more happy. But I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it.
the way they kind of modeled it was the top 12 teams in each conference all had a somewhat of a chance of making the playoffs. I think that's what they were going for. Because like if you look at this, like Montreal, they're like 10 points behind a wild card.
Yeah, and now
So
they're in it.
that's like the last team that would make it. Like I'm just reading off the teams, some of the teams that would be in the playoffs, like Montreal, Florida, New York Rangers, New York
Mhm.
Islanders.
And you know
If
what?
you go down to the
Florida gives us trouble, which I hate.
yeah,
Gives the
For
least
some
but it would
reason,
all
they're hard.
be buys and stuff. Like they would play each other for a
for
spot.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like if you didn't earn a playoff spot at the beginning of the year, what's the point? I
I
feel like
agree.
they want to give everyone a fair chance because the season's not done yet. There's 10 games left or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like if you didn't earn a playoff spot yet in 65 games, then you shouldn't be earning one. Maybe just the teams on the bubble, like the 4 teams that were in like the wild card spots, maybe like, or sorry, not the wild card spots, like right outside the wild card spot in each
Yeah,
division.
like I was thinking they could have gone for an approach where like the top 4 teams that were competing for the wild card spot, they would have to play like one game, and then
Yeah,
whoever wins that
like
game
a
gets the
2-game
wild card.
series or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a best 2 out of 3 or something. But
Hmm.
I feel like adding every team in except the bottom 6 is just like it's kind of ludicrous to be honest. I don't like it, but it's
I
my
mean,
opinion.
I think the smaller teams that aren't making it would like it because they get a better chance at a better pick.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, if you lose in the first round, you could potentially get a top pick even if you were a top team. You know,
Well,
if Tampa, so to speak, were to lose
They would
in the
never do that. They never lose in the
first
first
round,
round.
could they get like the 7th overall pick or whatever? Like potentially.
I think they'd have to change. That's why they're delaying the draft lottery. But I think they would have to change it so that only the teams that didn't make the playoffs would have a chance at a lottery pick.
But then everyone's making the playoffs. That's where I don't find it
Yeah.
functional. That if 24 teams making the playoffs, then all those 24 teams should be in the lottery too.
Mm.
Because I feel like now the teams that weren't in a playoff spot get a huge upper hand on anyone that was.
Okay, but would you rather have as a franchise? Would you rather have a chance at the playoffs or a chance like a small chance at a lottery pick?
A chance at the playoffs, but the thing is, they get both.
Yeah,
They're
but then
getting both
that's
now, so that's kind of unfair to the other 24 teams that are actually made the playoffs. And I don't know, I don't like it.
all right. Well, you're very vocal about not liking it.
I'm
Jude,
sorry.
do you have an opinion?
Nope. It's birthday boys entitled. I don't know.
Uh,
No,
you
I'm just
actually have an
kidding.
opinion?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I actually agree with Phil. It's a little bit biased to those Dookie teams, but aside from that, I don't know, maybe cut down top 10 maybe for each division or whatever you said, Eric. That maybe be a bit.
Yeah.
For
Laggy
sure.
boy.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, laggy boy, whatever. All good.
Bruh.
I
Let me just control it.
I'd just be happy to see the season finish. That would make me happy.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly,
I agree with that 100%.
whatever happens.
As long as
Just
there's
want to see
something.
more hockey games.
Exactly.
All right. I guess we'll wrap it up there. Any final
Awesome.
comments?
Not from me.
No, sir.
No. All right. That was really good. All right. Thank you guys for watching or listening to the Buds in the Box podcast,
Felly's birthday podcast.
Sally's birthday podcast, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.